League of Legends Anonymous, episode 326? Somewhere in that neighborhood. I've lost count, to be totally honest. It is I, your host, Wise Papa Smurf. And along with me is a consummate professional, a true gentleman. You may recognize him from League of Legends. What's that good podcast? Not radio, the good one that we were just on. Aiden's one.
Wow.
Yeah, that one.
Wow.
Which one was that?
League cast?
That's it.
That's
League
the good
cast.
one?
Well, I mean, in comparison to LOL radio, but admittedly, that's a low bar.
Is it a low bar?
Yeah.
I will give you both the edge in longevity, at the very least.
So
You earned that. And I can't take it away from you.
that's true.
Much like I would
produced.
take all your listeners if literally ever booted it back up.
Yeah, it's fair enough, and I think you'd probably preach pretty well to a new demographic of people who don't want to listen to a 13-year-old screech.
Dude, fun fact, I'm pretty sure the last episode I did of LOL Radio was where I teased like a showdown between my listeners and your listeners, and then I just never did another episode. And
Left on a cliffhanger, huh?
it was truly, what was that show that fucking my friend used to always bitch. My Name is Earl, most random show ever. My friend used to always bitch that it ended on a cliffhanger when we were in like 7th grade. I don't know why he was watching that show, but
It was actually a pretty decent show.
was it?
It really was. Well, it was hit or miss episodes, but I like that actor. Basically, he was the demon from Dogma. Jason something. I can't remember the guy's name, but he was good.
I know what you're talking
He's a
about.
pretty funny guy. So, anyway, this week I'm trying to do something special. We're going to do it. I don't know how long this is going to take. It may be a short episode, but every time I've always said that, they've always gone long. But this week, what we're going to do is I brought Michael out of retirement because he is so disconnected from the league scene. He hasn't played in a while, right? And so he hasn't seen the preseason video. So I have Michael, who I know is an educated fellow when it comes to league and balance and like generally things that are good for a MOBA versus a bad idea. And I brought him in for a fresh take. I was going to do the same thing with Double and Zill, but I could not get them like to show up. So instead, Michael's here, and we're going to do this thing. So welcome back, Ponderous. Nice to have you. Are you ready to see this preseason video?
Sure. I've got some trepidations about it. I know I've seen the meme of champions don't have overloaded kits overall. So that's about
So that's the extent of your knowledge, as you've seen that
meme,
yeah. Right? Okay.
And I mean, and to just give some context on my opinions before we go into it, I still think the number one problem with League's balance as a whole, if you were to put it down to one thing, is still champion design. It's been champion design since like season 6 or 7. It will probably continue to be champion design into the near future, but champion design has always been like the worst aspect of Riot's balance. Because like other stuff, like I mean the items are fine, they seem fine. Some of them are overtuned as usual. I don't know how effective they were at like. It feels like a lot of champions just build the same mythic every game, whereas like the goal was to diversify builds. Doesn't really seem like that's happened, but like they don't seem like any of the items are completely broken, unless they're just overtuned. I liked the dragon changes that I don't remember when they made those with the new soul and the new affecting the map and like all that stuff. Like all that stuff is like mostly fine. The number one sticking point is always champion designs. So when I saw that they said that champions don't have overloaded kits overall, I was like, oh god, we're really in for it. So that's just some
and
context
you have
for my
seen
opinions.
you have seen nothing,
I've seen nothing
else.
I don't know anything.
Okay, great. Because you touched on a lot of things that are. This is going to be
I
fun.
did see like 2 seconds of footage of a dragon. I think there's a new dragon or something, but that's literally
Okay. All right. Good. Now, buckle up. So here's the thing. Just if you have a point, I'm going to stop the video on a number of occasions whenever I have something that I'm like, you've got to be shitting me, right? And I'm going to stop it. We'll talk about it back and forth. If you would like me to stop the video,
I
just
just do.
just give me the tea.
Do a halftime.
Yeah, give me the halftime tea. We'll
That's
go
gonna
from
play
there.
well in audio.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, SafeLocked here on behalf of the League team. We have a lot to cover today, including our plans for preseason, challenges, and game modes. But first, let's talk about the state of the game. Overall, we're pretty happy with the state of League this season, but before we get into the details, let's dive into a topic that's been pretty popular lately, which is new champion balance. When we look at the data, we actually see that new champions have been pretty balanced on release this year, with the exception of Dr. Mundo.
Okay.
I heard that comment that people were memeing them for Dr. Mundo. I assume they thought that he was too weak.
No, they thought that he was too strong.
I will be honest, I've played against Dr. Mundo like one time. So I don't know how true that is or is not.
Okay, so
but when I look at him compared to the other new releases, you know.
Okay, so the joke here is that Dr. Mundo's rework was undeniably strong, right? Like, he was strong. However, after a brief adjustment to the numbers, he's all right. Right? Like, he's not running away with games. He's kind of
inherently broken.
Right. He's fallen kind of back into the exact same thing that he was in before. And he's kind of out of the meta because, like, there's so much health regen and he's just bad at what he does, right? Because, like, Aurelia with Divine Sunderer, Warwick with Divine Sunderer heals more than Mundo does.
Yeah, well, that's a huge problem in and of itself, right? The proliferation of healing in everything.
Well, and that's the problem. Is like champions that don't have, like, that's not their identity.
Yeah, exactly. Healing used to be a signature thing. Like, Soraka was the character that heals people.
They removed Soraka's ult removes grievous wounds.
I did hear something about that. It's a little bit questionable.
Yeah, she's risen up to like pick her bamboo. Can we just talk
about how like I fucking hate this whole like these champions have like their thing is being the exception to the rule. They never work. Remember when Kog'Maw's thing was that he could break the attack speed cap?
Mm-hmm.
And he was just either broken or shit tier the entire time? Like these champions, they work in a game like Dota where just everything is a mess intentionally and it's great. But they never work in League of Legends because the margins in League of Legends are so slim for like one character being better by a wide margin than another character, you know? That like these champions with these types of like this shit never works. Why do we have to keep doing it? Insert Meteos clip about making unique champions here. Like, come on, can we stop?
Okay, so this is fun for me. I just lit a candle. I'm, sitting back with my legs up. Oh, I got the mood right because I'm hearing you bitch about things that I am literally like, I don't have to say this now. So there you go. That's great. But yeah, so they highlighted Mundo. Mundo is literally, they balanced him and then he's fallen off the face of the earth because there's so many champions who do what he does better. Yeah. And so that's kind of why the fuck did you pick? Like, yes, Mundo was broken on release, but you numbers him back quickly.
Well, some champions you can do that with, right? Like some champions, it's literally a numbers game. Like, and notice how the champions that are balanced are always these linear types of, or these champions that are capable of being balanced are always very linear kits, which I get not every champion should be, but like, you look at Vel'Koz, I think that people are like, oh, Vel'Koz the most balanced champion ever, because like he's been basically balanced since release. I mean, when have you ever seen a Vel'Koz dominated meta? Or conversely, when have you ever seen a meta where Vel'Koz was unplayable, except for like maybe when every mid laner's an assassin and every jungler's an assassin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, like if you're good, you can still play. And
Well, Vel'Koz is pretty much Xerath. I mean, they're the same thing, you know.
exactly. Like that's an easy champion to balance. And the problem with all these new champions, from like I would say, really not the earliest, but like one of the earliest offenders, like really bad offenders, was Echo.
I was gonna say Echo, yeah.
But I think Echo's design is actually good. I think it's a little overloaded.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's good. For me, the one that really started it, where like everything got fucked, was Zoe. Like that was the first one that I thought was like horrendously bad, and like 9 out of 10 champions after that have been bad. Like what's been good post Zoe? Like I don't know much, but Rel seems like fine. Vex seems fine.
I really like Vex, actually. Vex is one champion that I think they did a new champion release well. Because
Senna
they
should have been fine, but like I don't know.
Senna is, I think, still a numbers game, and they just gave up on the numbers. Like there's like, good enough, fuck it.
Well, isn't her thing infinite range scaling?
Yep.
Yet another.
Yeah.
You see the problem. But
okay,
anyways,
so let's keep going with the video.
Let's play the rest. Yeah.
That said, there's more to healthy gameplay than just win rates, and we're still hearing that new champions feel unfair to play against, particularly when it comes to complex abilities or overloaded kits. If we're being completely honest, we don't think our champions have overloaded kits overall.
The meme.
Yeah. So, I don't understand how you can make this video, and you're Riot, and people have been complaining about this solidly for at least a year.
Well, there was this old forum. It's sad to see what has become of this company, because there was this old forum post. I don't remember who it was, if it was Meddler or Ghostcrawler, like one of those OG guys on the balance team. I really don't remember who it was. It might not have even been either of them. Maybe it was Skarsgård, who knows. But there's this really old forum, but like old forums, like I don't know if any of you guys are league boomers like me who actually use the old forums. I'm sure a few of you are. But,
I did.
They were like they were really bad, but they were like bad in a good way, you know. And now everything is just on Reddit and it's soulless. But there was this old post about they were talking about like the burden of knowledge and how they don't want people to not understand the champion that they're playing against after like playing against them. You know what I mean? And like even some of the like more OP champions like Camille are very easy. It's very easy to understand what they do. Like you can play a lane against Camille one time and you know what she does. You know that she's got the big kick, she's got the dash where she jumps onto a wall and then dashes at you. There's her W that's the slice, and then her R traps you. Like it's a very simple champion to understand what you're playing against. And they were basically saying that like, and they didn't use Camille as an example. I'm just using Camille as an example because she's considered by a lot of people to be OP, but she's also simple, you know? But they were basically saying how they didn't want people to be playing against champions, that they would literally have to read what the abilities do in order to understand them. Like that was what they were saying they wanted to avoid, that there was a lot of that in Dota, and that certain abilities in Dota will just kill you if you don't know exactly what they do, and you haven't read what the champion does, and they didn't want that in League. This is like season 2 or 3 when they said this.
Okay, hold on, hold tight.
Company
wait.
Release a Felios.
There have been times when we've given new champions too many tools and had to pull back later to give them more clear weaknesses. For example, Samira's ability to dash to allies was removed because it provided too much safety. Combined with her missile blocker, it made CCing her too difficult, especially since that's one of her main forms of counterplay. Another thing we consider when we hear a champion feels bad to play against is their intended complexity. We try to make a healthy mix of high, medium, and low complexity champions. In this way, whether you like mechanical skill expression, point and click simplicity, or something in between, there's a new champion that interests you. For example, with Vex, we wanted to create a champion that was fairly easy to pick up, and we're happy to see she's hitting that mark. But beyond just how complex a champion is to play, there's also how difficult they are to understand. We want new champions to have unique gameplay, but you shouldn't need a wiki to know how to play with or against them. Learning counterplay is a skill test we do think is important, but knowing what a champ can or can't do shouldn't be a part of it. This clarity is something we haven't always hit the mark on, especially with champions like Aphelios, who not only has a complex kit, but was also lacking UI clarity when he was released.
When he was released, unlike now.
Still is, by the way. Still lacks that clarity.
Unlike now.
And still requires a wiki to play against. And still, like, doesn't hit any of these points.
Can you just pull up the Meteos video? You've already playing this. They'll be able to hear it. Just click the link.
Well, I have to, like, pull it up on Microsoft Edge because of all the fucking technology shit.
Well, just copy it and then paste it in a new tab. Just play it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let Meteos say it. He says it better than I ever could. You're fine. I'll entertain the people.
Do this shit.
Yeah, I'm making you work.
Fortunately, you linked this to me earlier tonight
I
because
did.
you wanted to reference it.
I did.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that's the Scar video.
Oh, god damn it, Michael.
I was sending you stuff. The one before
And there it is.
that was when I was talking about Katarina. Alright. What the hell is that?
I don't know. I hit paste and go.
You copied the timestamp, that's the problem. Now paste it and then delete the
Why
timestamp.
is Microsoft Bing such fucking hot garbage or whatever the fuck this is?
Now go to the... Yeah, there, now delete that. There you go.
I just think a lot of the time when Riot makes their decisions, it feels like they don't think about, like, will this make the game fun? They get distracted by other things, like, how can I look like a creative designer? Like, what can I do that's just totally out there? And then it'll, like, might even sound cool on paper. It's like, guys, what if you made a champion that can't get gold, can't auto-attack, can't move? But they're balanced, 50% win rate, and everyone arrives like, oh, it's so different. Oh, God, my nipples. Oh, and then they make it, and then you get in the game, and you're just like, dude, this is shit. It's not like any other champion, right? It's like, yeah, tell me more. Tell me more as I tweak my fucking nipple.
Oh my god. Oh, I love that video. It's so true. What else is there to say? I mean, Christ. What if we made a champion that if he kills someone, he can revive his teammates? Oh, it's Akshan!
Yeah.
Like, this is every champion that they release. You know? It's like, what if we made it... Like, they already did. They did Zoe first. What if we made a champion that could pick up summoner spells off the ground? Ugh. I'm pretty sure that clip was before Zoe came out, or maybe
It was.
around the time.
It was.
And then they made Silas. Like, what if a champion could steal other champions' ultimate abilities? Oh
Then they
my
made
God.
Viego.
And then they make Viego. And
What
they're
if a
like,
champion could
you're
steal
playing
a
with
champion?
What if they could steal your whole kit? Fuck you. Fuck you, bitch. Steal their kit. See if I give a fuck. I'm Riot Games. Like, what are we doing? What is this? Shut up. Thank you, Meteos. I didn't know you'd have Meteos on this podcast.
Yeah, I didn't. I did not.
It's insane.
Designing new champions is a constant balance between making something that's exciting, has clear
pause,
counterplay,
pause again,
and isn't
real quick.
confusing.
Go back 5 seconds and then pause. To what she was saying, yeah. And then pause at like 2:05 or 2
released.
minutes.
Designing new champions is a constant balance between making something that's exciting, has clear counterplay, and isn't confusing.
Pause.
We're
So, if that's the case, why is the balance team separate from the champion design team? You morons. You know that's 2 separate departments, right? That's 2 departments at Riot. One is champion design, one is game balance. Do you not see... The fact that they don't see how those 2 are inextricably woven together is like 90% of the problem in the first place. Because, again, to reference the Meteos clip, the game designers are just trying to go for creativity. Whereas what we want is like actual fun gameplay that has counterplay, you know? It's like, anyways, hit play. I don't give a fuck.
still trying to find that line, but we want to get to a spot where new champions aren't just numerically balanced, but that you all feel they're fair to play against. Beyond new champion releases, this season we've seen a wide variety of picks in every role. We've also seen a healthy improvement in diversity.
Oh, by the way, the clip choice in this is atrocious. There's like they're talking about
Sirens level clip choice.
Yeah, it was pretty bad because like they're like, oh yeah, we want to have a champion that has like clear strength and whatever, and then fucking Akshan swings in and does a casual triple kill.
Dude, I've seen him play. He doesn't even seem that broken. aside from the stupid revive mechanic. This is the problem with these champions.
Well, Action, the problem with Action is the fucking hook shot mechanic and the fact that he shoots while hooking. And you could pretty much kill everybody with an on-hit passive while you're swinging by them.
But again, that's a numbers problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a mobility problem, you could argue, but there's plenty of high.
I would argue it's a mobility problem.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, yeah, I think that's it, is you've given him too much mobility. And, like, okay, so it's exactly what they were talking about with Samira. They're like, the fact that you can go in and out with the same move was too strong. You can do that with,
Take the wind wall off her kit. Then
you take and fun, and you can play against her.
Yeah.
She doesn't need a fucking wind wall, but whatever.
It's crazy.
Okay.
Diversity of playstyles across roles, especially in jungle and top lane. Some of this is due to direct champion changes, such as the kit adjustments that enable picks like Jungle Darius, Brand, and Morgana. New items.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Enable Jungle Brand, Morgana, and all this other shit. They buffed those champions with specific jungle buffs to force them into the meta. Yes. Like, it wasn't like kit adjustments or items all of a sudden made that viable. Like, they chose that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you made something that wasn't even necessarily good. Like, forced it on everybody. Like, nobody wanted to really play Brand in the jungle.
Bro, Blue 3 used to rock that shit in, like, Season 4. What are you talking about?
So, I mean, this is the kind of shit I'm getting at. Is like, you're making these things and then patting yourself on the back for diversity, but you created... Well, I mean,
I don't hate it. I don't hate them making more champions jungle viable. I think it's, like... It's more of a distraction than anything. You know what I mean? Like, and if those champions are only I've been thinking about like the idea of multi-role champions.
Well, hold on one second, because I want to touch that because I agree with you that I don't have a problem with making champions jungle viable, but what they did was that they made the champions so good in the jungle that you had to play it or you were trolling kind of shit. And that's my problem, is it wasn't jungle viability, it was we did an insane amount of buffs for a champion in that role, and now, well, you're playing Morgana jungle or you're just trolling. It
just comes back to like what I was saying earlier, with the champions that have unique game exceeding like abilities, like Kog'Maw going past the attack speed cap. Like I was saying there, League of Legends is a game of extremely slim margins, even more so than a game like Dota, I believe. And the problem with that being a fact of the game is that when a champion is viable in 3 roles, like when wasn't Set at one point viable in every lane and the jungle?
Yes.
Like, that's... Some people see that as a win. I mean, not maybe in this specific case, but some people see that as like, look at all the champion diversity. You can play him anywhere. And it's like, in a game like League of Legends, where the margins are so slim, if a champion is good in every role, to me that just means that they're broken. Like, if you keep making these champions... I think it's fine for champions to be viable in multiple roles, but again, viable, not top tier. Like... Because there's always been fringe jungle picks, you know? There's always been, like, random, weird, like, stuff that you could play in the jungle if you really wanted to. But...
I mean, support's the same way. Like, there's been a ton of, like, niche support champions that are good in very limited circumstances. That
right, like, you can play Vigar support or something. Like, it's not bad.
Vigar, Anivia, even Poppy and some of those, like... Yeah.
But you're picking it for a specific reason, or...
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best. It's not top tier pick in every game,
right?
Which is fine. Like that's I think how it should be. And then when you see these champions start to become popular in multiple roles, it usually just means that they're overtuned.
Yep.
And that's where it comes into problems. And I think that like making who was really like sitting up and like, God, I wish I could play Morgana jungle.
Nobody. That's what my point is. Like, nobody asked for that.
Yeah.
And, like, to do, like, we buffed Bran to the point that he had to be played jungle because he was that good or whatever. I mean, Bran's a bad example because I still don't think jungle Bran
Someone
was
like
good.
Zed.
Somebody like Zed, yeah, or Kiana, that was a big one. Like, they buffed Kiana to where she was ludicrous in the jungle and pretty much is now a jungler. And it's like, I mean, it wasn't like this shit came about naturally or somebody iterated on this and was like, it'd be really good is Kiana in the jungle. Like, nope, you buffed that into existence.
Right.
I don't know. That's forced diversity, not diversity. But
Items like Anathema's Change and Hullbreaker have also had a positive impact, especially in top lane where we're seeing a ton of champion diversity. And finally, we know that some champion classes have been struggling after the item system update, and we've been working on some solutions to help them out. And this brings us to our plans for preseason. With that, I'm going to hand things off to Brightmoon, who will go more in depth on the upcoming changes.
Take it away, Brightmoon.
Hey everyone, I'm Brightman, the lead producer of gameplay on League of Legends. League is like a house. Sometimes we need to do a big renovation to keep it working well,
Don't give me an analogy.
like when we overhauled the item system. And sometimes we just need to add some new furniture. For this year's preseason, we're sprucing things up with improvements to our existing systems, like items, runes, and the Elemental Rift. Let's start with our plans for items. While some champions and classes have lots of build options, we've still got others that don't feel like they've got a mythic or legendary that really speaks to them. So we're going to be adding some new items and tweaking some others. This will include 2 new mythic items. The first one is a support tank item, perfect for champions that want to get aggressive and charge into the middle of a fight.
That won't be broken.
When you immobilize an enemy champion, all nearby enemies will take increased damage from your team for a short period of time. The second new mythic item.
all right. So depending on the numbers, that actually does fit a niche because, like,
If you CC someone,
anybody around them
takes more damage.
takes additional damage.
Okay.
Okay. So the Leonas, the Threshes, like, they didn't really have a good support item.
Which is, again, like, how do these champions get left out? That's what I've never understood.
Well, they're like, oh, you can build Locket. And it's like, okay, so Locket's good. I mean, the active effect on Locket is good. I built it before it was ever a mythic item for the exact same reason. And yeah, I mean, Locket's fine. But, like, it didn't help me do anything as Leona or as Thresh. It's just an item. Like, it doesn't...
It's a good stat stick.
Yeah, everything else that's a mythic, the whole point was that it's like, we're going to enable you to do what you want to do, only better, right? Like, do you want to burn people? We're going to add percentage health onto that. Do you want to, like...
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What do you think is the appropriate number of mythic items that would be good on app, not of the existing items, but just in a simulation? Every champion has access to, has realistic access to X number of mythic items. How many do you say?
3.5, 4.
That is pretty much where I was. I would say probably 3, but maybe 4. And that's the problem with the mythic overhaul in general. Is I know that if they added twice as many, it would probably be a balancing nightmare again, because League of Legends is such a game of thin margins that, like, when one item is better than another at all, it becomes the de facto pick. But to me, the whole point of the mythic items is, like, yeah, some champions, like if I'm playing, I don't know, Tryndamere, if I'm against a squishy team with lots of mobility, I'll go Gale Force. And if I'm against a beefier team with lots of frontline, I'll go Gore Drinker. Like, yeah, that's a somewhat dynamic choice, but I don't think a lot of champions have that. A lot of champions have a clear best mythic item in pretty much 90+% of games, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's a big problem with that overhaul in general.
Well, yeah, I've talked about that a lot, and actually there was like an episode two episodes ago where I was like, hey, I don't care about the mythic system, it's fine, but it didn't hit its named mark, and that was to encourage diversity, because you don't. So, but like, I think adding that as a support item, I'm
But,
cool
like,
with it
let's
because
talk
we
about
don't
something-
really have any.
yeah.
And
Let's talk about
so,
something that actually did work though. Is I would say that at least a little bit better. The runes rework has sort of achieved that. Like sometimes in top lane you'll take grass, sometimes you'll take conqueror.
yeah,
As ADC, sometimes you'll take press the attack, sometimes you take hail of blades. Mage, maybe you'll take comet
Comet.
or electrocute. Like I actually think they did a pretty good job of achieving that with the rune system.
Yeah.
And I would like to see something more like that with the items, but it's never really
Yeah.
happened.
Well, I think if you just cut it down a lot, then I think it may be okay. But I mean, the problem is like the items are so still out of balance that it was pretty much you just build Gore Drinker or you are trolling.
What were we saying? That there's too much healing in the game?
Yeah, yeah. Let's keep going because this next one I want to hear your opinion on.
This item is built for mages who are looking for a little more survivability. It grants damage reduction that lingers for a few seconds after you get hit, and while the protection holds, you'll also get ability haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic that helps them survive a dive rather than pile on extra damage. When we update
Thoughts?
We need a mage item that helps them survive first. Fuck, guys. Is there anything like that in the game already? No, I got nothing. Yeah, I've got. Yeah, I can't think of anything. Survivability items for mages. Do you have anything?
I mean, I think such an item would be golden if you had something like that.
Yeah, I mean it's a good idea for mages to get like items that can help them survive bursts. So I'm surprised it hasn't been added in the game before now.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you just look at that idea in stasis, it seems like it would be a pretty good addition to the game. You know, not broken at
You
all.
could look at it for hours and not come up with a better solution. So, I mean, I think it's great. Zonias.
I mean, it almost feels like they've stopped watching for these kind of things.
Okay, that's the last one.
updated League's item system,
Jesus.
we wanted to give every champion strategic.
So, but no, actually though, that item already exists. It's probably the single most frustrating item in League right now. And yes, it makes for dramatic turnarounds with the fact that it's free in runes, and then you can turn around and upgrade the item and then use it again immediately. Like, this is...
I've heard that mages are weak, which I don't know if that's true or not, but like, I think that it's not that they're weak. I think it's that they're like outclassed.
Yes,
More so.
they are.
Like, there are other champions that have better mythics.
Well,
and
okay,
you'd rather
as a
have
mage,
Drinker
as a
set-
mage, what do you do against an Aurelia?
Yeah.
You can't burst her to death. She's got too much heal. You can't poke her out. She's got too much heal. You can't... That's the problem with mages, is they can't
They don't have
kill
anything
anybody.
sustain.
Yeah.
That's the other problem is that, I mean, lifesteal, there's Omni-Vamp on like, what, 2 items, and it's not a real form of healing.
Right.
Lifesteal is. Like, the problem is, like, you buy a Vamp Scepter, and your sustain goes up astronomically for 900 gold. Like,
Yeah.
and a lot of these champions have built-in healing in their kits. And you have to invest a lot of money to buy anti-heal that's not even, like, enough.
As much as you do for them
Get
to
the
get their
sustain.
Vamp Scepter, yeah.
Right, and they still get half the effect of that, plus
Mhm.
the AD. So they're really getting like, they're getting like 65% efficiency from the item when you spend the same amount of gold that the item costs to reduce it. So it's like, I really think that's it's not that assassins are bursting, that's supposed to happen. Like the problem is also, I think that AD champions have like super accelerated item curves now. Like, serrated Dirk for 1100 gold is better than any mage counterpart in the game, just because of the way that those champions scale.
Yep.
There's no equivalent for mages, you know? Which maybe that's fine if your point is like, okay, well, assassins will win the early and maybe even the mid game, but mages will outscale them, and they can do what they do from long range.
Well,
And
okay,
then,
so let's
whoopsie,
get
every
back
assassin
to
has stealth.
let's get back to this actual fucking item, because the idea here is that mages can get one-shotted,
Bro,
right?
it's gonna be a hell of a patch for Swain. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
that much.
So here's the kicker for me. Okay, so we make this thing that increases survivability for mages. They eat your initial burst back, right? Then they Zhonya's, and then burst back again when they come out of Zhonya's.
Yes.
Like, why? Like, this item is great. I'm fine with it, but it shouldn't exist in the same world that Zhonya's exists.
Bro, I'm gonna say it. Bring back Deathfire Grasp, and give it an effect where it stops all healing on the target. Bring it back. Do that. Do that. I'm dead fucking serious. You bring back Deathfire Grasp, but instead of amplifying your damage, it just not even cuts healing, reduces healing for 5. Like, no healing, at least from internal sources. Maybe your Soraka's still allowed to heal you, but you can't heal yourself for 5 seconds. Like, tell me that doesn't fix the problem better than this shit. Like, and put it on a 2-minute cooldown. Like, fuck it. You know what I mean? This is fucking stupid.
I mean, you
Not
could
addressing
literally
problems.
click it to do like on hit damage and then stop healing. Like,
Yeah, like,
it's an
some shit
active
like that.
effect. You click it, it does 250 damage.
Bro, bring back
and
Deathfire.
whatever.
I don't fucking care. Bring it back.
Yeah. All right.
Give it a
Choices
unique
in
effect.
every game.
Christ.
We still think that's the right goal for Mythics, but our thinking has changed when it comes to legendary items. We think it's okay if some champions build the same legendary in most games if it's a perfect fit. But we also
Okay, I
want you to
don't
have plenty of
disagree.
options, which is why we're improving legendaries for mages, assassins, and tanks. For example,
Okay.
assassins can look forward to a new legendary item that gives ability haste, and also refunds a portion of their ultimate's cooldown with enemy takedowns. Tanks that can never get enough mana will be happy with a new legendary item that grants bonus health based on total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they immobilize an enemy. Finally,
Okay.
mages who are tired of being denied their hard-earned kills can rejoice. They'll be receiving a new legendary that grants Magic Pen against recently shielded enemies. As for runes,
How about
we think there are some
recently healed enemies?
Yeah.
How about that? Bro, shielding is not a problem. I mean, it is a problem when you put it on champions like fucking Yone. But, like, also, can we talk about the fact that Yone only has a shield because Yasuo has a shield?
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the only reason why they put a shield on his kid, because it has no purpose being there.
Yeah.
That's
No,
just a-
you,
I
you
literally
are
had
correct.
that thought, but, like, what are we doing? But it, those all seem fine.
Right.
But, I mean, whatever.
That's kind of how I felt. I was like, fine. Except, like you just said, we want mages to get their
I don't know,
hard-earned
how many
kills, and you
tanks
also
into
have
the-
a
But how many
anti-burst
tanks into
item.
the late game are like, fuck, I need mana? Like, is Malphite at level 12? Like, by the time he finishes that item, is he really struggling for mana?
The only one that I think does is like Singed, and that's who they showed in the clip.
I mean, yeah, but like literally, I'm trying. And Malphite, you get a shield when you immobilize someone, so he gets a shield when he ults, and everyone's already knocked up. What? Like, what champions are struggling? I mean, maybe it's because I don't play them, but like, what champions are struggling for mana in general past level like 11?
Right, and I mean you're gonna finish your mythic
Very true.
probably around, I don't know, level 9, 8, right? I mean,
I don't.
I'm a support, so it kind of throws me off because, like, I don't get money. So, anyway.
good targeted changes we need to make. Most of all, we feel the Inspiration Tree's identity has been pretty unclear. We'd like to broaden its keystone use cases. For example, we're
Omnistone is a
reworking
meme.
Glacial Augment to double down on its fantasy of slowing down enemies. We're also
Okay,
making some
that sounds like
modifications to Lethal Tempo to lean into its attack speed fantasy and give it a more distinct
not
use case
inspiration.
in the Precision
That's gonna
Tree.
be balanced.
So, you remember at the beginning when you said breaking Kog'Maw by using attack speed? I was waiting for this clip.
Doesn't ring a bell. Did I say that?
Up next are
Why do I have the
bounties.
gift of prophecy?
Champion bounties give teams who are behind a way to get back into the game without being a straight shot to victory. And this year, we're adding a second way for teams to try and make a comeback. Objective bounties will work like champion bounties, except you cash them in by taking map objectives, like towers or Baron. They ramp up slowly when the enemy team lead grows, and the bounty is shared with your whole team, regardless of who claimed it. Taking objectives really is the best way
So
to
you don't
come
have to
back
last
when
in
you're
Baron.
behind.
Nice.
So we want to help make that a clearer and more rewarding strategy.
Is Baron itself not enough of a reward for you people? You greedy pigs. It's not enough for you?
No, okay.
It's
So
not enough for you?
dirty
Whores? You need more?
I have long bitched about bounties. I hate the fucking system because they're arbitrary. Whoever gets it doesn't necessarily be the person behind. It's usually the person that's the most ahead that claims the bounty that's a problem.
Or it's the support that gets the 700 gold bounty.
Or
This is fun.
yeah, it's the support that gets a 700 gold bounty, and unless it's me, you're fucked. Thanks for adding that. So, I mean, realistically speaking, I hate that system because of all those flaws in it. I also think that I don't really want there to be a rubber band mechanic in League, and I want there to be fewer of them because I want the game to be over. Right? Like, it's fine to lose a game. I don't want to drag every game out perpetually. Like, it just needs to end if somebody's 9-0 or whatever.
Well, and I think if you pick a scaling team comp, you should be punished for that by losing the early game. That's like when you pick scaling champions, that's the trade-off. And it's a fair trade-off unless the game is unbalanced in some way. But let's say just theoretically, it's a fair trade. Like, you sacrifice the early game for the late game. Like, it's a clear trade-off. And I don't get it because it's also just going to make the game come down even more to picks than it already does. Like, you're behind, 6k gold or whatever, and Baron's up. You catch the enemy ADC, and then you get Baron, and which was already a hugely winning play for you. But now it's an even winninger play based on the mistake of one player, which is what everything wrong with League is.
Yeah.
How
so let me
me
counterpoint you on that a little bit, sir. The reason that I kind of mind objective bounties less than I'm individual bounties is because it forces you to stop turtling. You have to come out and try to contest these bounties.
But you don't.
No, that's what I'm saying is if you come out to try to get back in the game with objective bounties, it's going to force team fights. If one team is way far ahead and you force a team fight, odds are they're going to lose that team fight, and that's going to wrap the game.
Okay, counterpoint. Your team has an 80% chance of losing a team fight, but if you get this Baron, you'll get 1,000 gold split 5 ways. Are you going to stop turtling for that? You know what I mean? Maybe in practice people are dumb and it works, unless their bounties are massive. But what's even a reasonable bounty? If you're down 6k gold, that's a decent lead.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make the bounty? Do you make it a third of your gold deficit? Do you make it 2,000 fucking gold split 5 ways? If it's less than that, it doesn't have any real impact. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. I don't see how it stops turtling unless it's overpowered. And you're I mean, I don't hate it that much, but I just don't see if turtling was the optimal play before, it's gonna still be the optimal play because it's not they're just adding gold bounties in general to the objectives and whichever team, Old Dragon was, where you just get global gold. It's not like they're doing that. It's only for the team that's losing. So the team that's losing isn't gonna be behind anymore when they lose that Baron than they would have been before this change. You know what I mean? They'll just be slightly less behind if they actually do get the Baron. Does that make sense? Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make a difference. They're in the if they don't get the Baron, they're in the exact same spot as they would have been before this change, which is why turtling is still probably the optimal play in these spots, because you're not losing any more than you would have before. So I don't really see what the purpose is.
Well, and like I said, it also, the one thing I don't like about it is, okay, so let's say we shoot an Ezreal ult or to get some kind of miracle bullshit Baron Steel or Dragon Steel, and now all of a sudden my team gets 2,000 gold because somebody missed a smite.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I mean, they're just adding more ways for one player to grief a game and lose it. I mean, it's like that's been one of the big problems with this game for so long, and
it's interesting to
not
me
gonna
because
help.
I hadn't even considered one player griefing the game and losing it as like a consideration in
But
that.
it's true.
But it's
Like,
true. You're
your
right.
Fed
Like,
ADC does some dumb shit, tries to clear the mid wave when it's at the tier 1 turrets 40 minutes in. They get caught, and obviously you're still losing Baron in that scenario a large portion of the time. But now not only are you losing Baron, you're giving the enemy team potentially thousands of gold as well. So you get a shutdown on the enemy carry, you get the Baron, and you get a big ass Baron bounty. What? For
yeah,
one kill?
Yeah, you
What
had
are
a
we
good
doing?
point. All right, let's keep going.
That said, if a team is really far ahead, objective bounties won't change that. Being the better
Good.
team should always get you a win. So we'll be
Yeah.
watching the new bounty system closely
Sure.
to keep things in check. Finally, let's talk about our
We'll
biggest
be
addition
smoking
this
crack
preseason,
to make sure nothing
dragons.
goes wrong.
We really like how each dragon creates unique terrain, grants powerful buffs, and adds more strategy to the mid and late game.
Okay, I don't
So
hate
this
any of those
preseason,
things.
we're adding 2 more.
Okay.
Up first is the Hextech Dragon. When your
Okay.
team defeats
That's not an
it,
element.
you'll all gain additional ability haste and attack speed. If you claim
Okay.
the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works kind of like Static Shiv's passive. When this dragon takes over the rift, it creates Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations across the map.
Nah, they brought the ship from
The second
Valorant
dragon
into
joining the
League.
party is Hextech's darker sibling, the Hextech Drake. When you slay it, your team will deal increased damage when your HP is low, letting you turn around those close team fights.
Ah, that's what I really needed.
This dragon soul provides a second chance at life. Well, sort of. When you die, you'll enter a zombie state, where you can still cast abilities and continue fighting when you'd normally be looking at a gray screen. And when the Hextech Dragon putrefies the map, it creates camouflage zones in fixed locations. These dragons
Thoughts? He's just collapsed in a pile. Michael, if you were talking, you like muted yourself in shocked frustration, I think.
The only defense I have is that this will only appear in 1 out of every 6 games. That's the best thing I can say about this. Jesus Christ. That's what they took away from everyone bitching about stuff, was like, hey, let's give it to everyone.
Let's make camouflage zones. And I'm sitting there going, okay, as a support main, how do I ward anywhere? Because I'm basically a kid walking pantsless backwards through a pedophile convention, and everything should be fine. You know, you're just walking out to ward. What could go wrong?
Once
Like,
again, I've been gifted the gift of prophecy with my smoking crack comment. It's truly uncanny.
well, like it's funny because he's like, yeah, we're gonna introduce these things, and you're like, I like those things. I like ending games. I like this. Okay, this is fine. And then he goes into why, and you're just whoosh. Your face dropped immediately when he's like,
I mean, what is there to say? We're adding camouflage zones.
well, not even camouflage zones. Camouflage zones plus Scion passive on a dragon.
That one, okay.
How do you win a team fight?
If the whole team has that shit?
Yeah, the whole team has that. How do you win a
Yeah.
team fight? Game's over.
Yeah. Here's the only thing I can say. That's one of those things that in a void sounds like it's going to be broken as fuck, and very well might be. But it's also one of those things that I can see sounding OP as fuck on paper, and then actually not being that good in practice. But knowing right, it's probably going to be the former. Again, here's the only defense I can make. that's only gonna be, oh god, and it's gonna be the same fucking ones. And if you get the fucking Chemtech Soul, it's also gonna be the Chemtech Terrain.
Yep.
So it's gonna be like fucking both of them in
Yep.
the same game. Like the other one seems fine. The Hextech one seems fine.
Yeah, I'm cool with the gates. That's fine.
I mean, I think they're fucking cringy, but like, I hate teleportation as a gimmick. I think it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, whatever. Like, people thought that the fucking changing rift was gonna fucking break the game.
Well, I think it's going to be like, how the fuck are you going to track where anybody's at? Because, like, they were over here, now they can be over there. And so, like...
Hopefully it will be, you can only, one gate goes to one location.
It is, I think.
I would
But
imagine.
the problem that I have is, like, I can time tempo plays. Because I say, okay, we killed them. It's going to take them this long to get back here. We can get this many things off the map if they go straight at us, you know.
Right.
We push tower, then we can go get a Baron because it'll take them 20 seconds to get to Baron, and we can have it finished by then. Now you throw in the element of gates.
You remember when you had to like time objectives?
Yes.
What happened?
They built that in to the game.
Remember you used to have to like know shit
Yeah.
to be shit?
I don't actually, the timing objectives thing, I'm fine with letting that die. You know.
I don't like that. I mean, I'm okay with it on the global objectives. I don't like it on the rift camp, on the camps.
Mm.
But anyways, that doesn't matter. I'm just
Alright.
thinking. No, the Hextech one seems fine-ish. I don't love the gates, but
I don't feel like either of these dragons add anything to the game that's good.
no,
You know what I mean?
I-
Like, I feel like
I
this
like.
is change
I will
for
say
change.
I don't hate the Hextech Dragon's basic effect, where you get bonus ability movements, or what was it?
Ability
attack
haste
speed
and attack
ability
speed,
haste.
yeah.
I don't hate that. I think that's fine for there to be a dragon for that. I also don't hate the soul, where you get the slowing effect. It's no more broken than the infernal effect. You know what I mean? Like it's very
Mhm.
similar to me,
Mm-hmm.
but with a CCing effect instead of a bunch of damage. Like whatever. Both of those seem fine. The zombie one seems like it's probably gonna be broken in team fights, but not necessarily that good in a lot of other situations. Like when you get a pick on someone, it's like you don't have a, you know what I mean? Like if you 3v1 collapse on someone, it's essentially like you don't even have an ability in a lot, or like a soul in a lot of cases. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because you just get melted again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like gonna be really hit or miss, which I don't love.
Dragons might seem more
And then the
impactful than the
camouflage
current
system.
ones. And, well, they are. Our goal is to
They
add
are.
more unique encounters and meaningful strategy to the mid and late game.
Okay, more unique encounters with camouflage zones all over the map. The only thing that's unique about that encounter is when I'm gonna get raped. Like I can't walk out to ward. Like,
Yeah.
so a long time ago.
Bro, again, this game already has so many fucking problems with dumbasses getting picked. And, like, that being a massively deciding factor in games. And we're just gonna, like, double down on that as a win condition. It's
Yep.
like the shittiest, I mean, pick comps exist, but it's like the shittiest win condition to play for. Because it's entirely dependent on someone making a mistake. And a bad mistake at that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you, and so like the problem I have is like they talked about like a long time ago, like season 3 or 4 Worlds. They were talking about the effect that vision proliferation, or 5, I don't know. It was a season where they put trinkets. They limited the amount of wards a support can buy, and they put them in.
Right.
And
Arguably one of the best changes ever made in League,
yeah,
I would say.
and they were talking about that, and you know, LS or somebody, one of the analysts, was talking about what that did to playmaking, because the inability to move out because we didn't have all this vision everywhere on the map made the game more cautious and less flashy as a result of lack of
Knowledge.
knowledge. Yeah, and this feels like that. Like, okay, I have a lack of knowledge in an area. If there's any fed anybody in that area, I'm going to immediately die as a support. I can't do anything to help my team then. I just have to avoid those areas completely. And depending on how far they are on the map, I won't be able to leave lane.
Bro, here's what I want to see. Here's my ideal LCS game. Okay. Camo zones everywhere. One team, 5 champions stacked in the northern camo zone. Other team, 5 champions stacked in the southern camo zone. They sit there for 5 minutes until they look at each other in real life and go, what the fuck is going on? And then go fight and then all die at Baron. That's like my ideal LCS scenario.
That said, these are some pretty big changes, and we're ready to
God, I
adjust
love
if they're
watching
making
LCS.
too much, too little of an impact.
Thrilling.
You can expect to see all of these changes on PvE in a couple of weeks, and we'll be looking for your feedback in the months ahead.
Will you be looking for our feedback? Will you be looking for it?
Will you?
Outside of preseason, something we've heard from all of you
Like a
is that
very
you'd like
Jonah
more ways
Hill.
to express yourself
Yeah.
and your achievements. In
Does
League.
it?
Will
Does
you?
the power of Christ
For
compel
some of
me?
you,
Does
ranked
it?
is how
Does
you
it
define
compel
your
me?
It's not
progress.
very compelling.
And that's great. We don't want to change that.
Rewind. I
And
didn't hear
for
what the
those
fuck
of you
you
who
were
aren't
saying.
focused on
Floating this to the end. I'm not paying
Does the
attention.
power of Christ compel me? Does it? Does it
It's not
really?
very compelling.
It's not very compelling. Oh, God. I'll back it up.
Go back like 15 seconds. Or just to the start of this section.
Alright, that's fine. Yeah. Will you write? Will you listen to it? Because clearly, like, and that's the thing, is this video shows exactly how much Riot has listened to the community.
Yeah.
And I think that, like, this has been an ongoing... Fuck. That many years ago, whenever I interviewed Skarzard and he was, like, super elitist about his opinion being better than anybody else's, like, he just knows more. That was, to me, systemic in Riot. Like, that was... They just felt like they knew better. And then...
They know better than the rabble who plays
Well,
the game
sure.
all day.
And that was like brought forward with comments like, we have 200 years of combined game making experience, all
God,
this
Spawn,
shit.
one of the most legendary League
Yeah.
videos ever. That Force Within video,
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorites.
So I mean, it's this kind of like, there's a disconnect that's been going on here forever, and I like, granted, I'll give them that game developers know more about game design than players, right?
Agreed
But the
on
difference is that players are here to have fun, and if your game isn't, and they're telling you that, and that they have serious
Right.
problems, like, you have to address that shit.
Well, it's like one thing to be like bitching like, oh, the game should do this as a player, and it's another thing for you to be screaming at the top of your lungs, this isn't fun, and them telling you, I know what fun is. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, you don't have to be a fucking game design genius to think that it's not fun for fucking one champion to one-shot your entire team out of stealth. Like, it's you don't have to be a genius to figure that shit out, you know? It's ridiculous. Anyways, play this stupid...
Outside of preseason, something we've heard from all of you is that you'd like more ways to express yourself and your achievements in League. For some of you, ranked is how you define your progress, and that's great.
Ranked is
We
how I
don't want
define
to
my
change
life,
that.
bitch.
But for those of you who aren't focused on the rank climb, there aren't great ways to express your own progress.
Because you
Champion
suck.
Mastery and Eternals help you show
Doesn't
off your
prove anything.
skills on a particular champ,
Doesn't
but they
show
don't
skills.
tell the story of your broader
Why?
League legacy. The new challenges system should achieve just that.
Well,
Challenges rank up over time, showcasing your increasing mastery and legacy
I have contempt
across
for
a
this.
bunch of different systems, modes, and gameplay, making it a little different than just a standard achievement.
what the hell
We want to
does that even
highlight not just your rank and champion mastery,
Oh,
but also
more
your
icons.
inventiveness, breadth of play styles, collection,
No.
and everything else
if,
in between.
If you can pause.
Want to showcase your knack for next?
If it can be put into a box of an achievement, it doesn't show your inventiveness. That's like saying that a fucking PlayStation achievement for getting all the trophies in the game shows your inventiveness. It doesn't show shit. It shows that you played the game the exact way that it was intended. Jesus Christ. Shut up. I'm sorry that you guys don't want to play ranked because you have ranked anxiety. because you're on the balance team and you're all silver and you want other ways for people to respect you. But nobody gives a fuck. Nobody's going to care about anything but your rank ever until the end of time. They're not going to give a fuck about champion mastery. They don't give a fuck about the Eternals. Those are more of like a fun thing to be like, aha, look, I just got my 1000th turret as Ziggs. Haha, it's so fun. Like, nobody actually fucking cares. Nobody's like, holy shit, this guy's got 1,000 turrets with Ziggs. He must be a fucking god at League of Legends. Nobody fucking cares about shit except your rank, and moreover, nobody gives a shit about anything except your solo queue rank. Stop trying to fucking force all these other things so that other people feel like they're achieving something. You're wasting your life playing League of Legends. Nobody gives a fuck about anything except your goddamn solo queue rank.
Okay. Everything you just said, and I know they're going to charge for this.
I hope they do.
It's going to be Eternals.
Buy it, all of you.
I hope it's going to be exactly like Eternals. I would bet you, because they don't actually mention that it's not for sale. Like, and if it was, if they were giving out free statistics, I would be like, cool, another free feature of the league.
When they showed the video, everyone in the lobby had it, which would imply that it's free, would it not?
It sure would. But wait, they never mentioned that, and I would think that if they were saying,
I hope it's expensive as fuck.
I'm just saying, if it's a free feature, I think that would have been said, because that would have been a marketing point. It was like, we heard your feedback on Eternals, and you know what? You're right. We're gonna give you a free feature. Look at all these dumbass icons that you'll have, so you don't have to explain why you don't play solo queue. Like, it's gonna be there.
But like, am I fucking wrong? Nobody gives a shit about.
No, nobody cares about that.
There's fucking silver players with a billion mastery points.
So one of
I'm better than them. On the champion.
one of the things that they're talking about, and they're probably getting to it in another 3 seconds on this video, but owning more than 90 champions is a checkbox for this.
Oh, good. Well, it only took me 3 years to unlock all the
Never
champions.
dying in
back when
ARAM?
you got 6 blue S's
Or how
per
great
game.
you are at killing minions in SR in the first 10 minutes. Maybe you've collected over 100 champions, or love participating in events. All of this is now
Maybe you
possible
climbed
to
to a
track
high rank in
and
solo
display your
queue and want to
progress
show that off
with
to
challenges.
everyone.
You'll get the first glimpse of challenges when they hit PBE next month, and the full system will launch early next year.
So you could show everyone your challenges.
That's all I
in the
have to
PvE
share with
server.
you today. Thanks so much for watching. And here's SafeLocked again
You're welcome.
to talk about game modes.
Take it away, Safe Locked. Bring us home. Bring us home, baby.
When it
Bring
comes
us
to
home.
game modes, one thing we've been hearing from you all is that you'd like more variety in the modes we bring back alongside events.
Bring back Earth.
So,
Earth is
let's
so
talk about it.
fun.
To start,
I love Earth,
we
dude.
actually agree that the existing rotation of game modes can make some of the most popular modes like Earth and One for All
yes,
feel a bit
Earth.
stale. Some of you have asked why we just don't bring back some of our other older game modes like Star Guardian Invasion or Ascension to mix things up. And the answer is that bringing back old modes isn't as easy as flipping a switch.
Bring back fucking.
League is constantly
what was
changing,
the one it was called?
which means all of our existing
It
modes
was on the
require
Ascension
constant
map
upkeep.
before that.
For example, when we
It's called
released it,
Ascension.
we had to figure
No,
out
no, no,
how
no,
she
pause it,
functioned
pause
in
it.
One for All.
No, it was the one, but like way back in the day. What the fuck was that called? It was like where you had to collect the pillars instead.
Yeah, it was like Ascension.
No. Ascension was the one where you get giant.
Yeah, you were Xerath. Everybody.
No, but
whatever.
that map. What was that map originally intended for? It wasn't Ascension. It was repurposed from that other game mode that like 10 people played.
Magma.
No.
Core,
You're-
the one
no,
we
you're
won
thinking-
that?
No. You
What?
know it.
Fuck if I know, man.
No, you know it for sure. I know you know it, and I know it.
Dominion.
Dominion. Bring back Dominion, pussies.
They won't.
Bring back Dominion.
They
Unless you're a
won't.
bunch of cowards.
What happens when a Yumi attaches to a Yumi who is attached to a Yumi?
That's
Because
what we
of
were all
upkeep like
wondering.
this, we
You
have to
nailed
be
it,
very
Safe
selective
Lock.
about the
Safe
modes we
Lock.
pick.
Right
Right
now
now, there are just too
I don't
few
know.
popular modes that feel worth
Safe
the
lock.
investment compared to making brand new modes or updating more resonant ones for you. We've mentioned this before, but
She
we
really
think
said,
the
what if
sweet
there were
spot
5
for game
Yumis? I
modes are
thought
ones
that
that
was like a selling point for this shitty game.
Yeah, no, they were saying we can't do stuff because what happens if 5 Yumis connect to each other? That's
I hope the game crashes and everyone involved
Yeah.
is burned alive.
Mhm.
That's what I would prefer happen.
like, good lord, that's dark. But God, and by the way, the name Safe Lock is fucking a stupid name. Like, I just,
We've run out of topics. Now we're just.
I'm sorry. Like, did you safely lock away her from the Riot fucking makeup department?
God damn it, buddy.
Because, like, You safely lock away all the mascara? Like, what happened?
Giving in
You
all the
have
things that they said you would say.
you have the LCS. Everyone in there has stage makeup on. How do you release these videos and
We're
not
wearing,
use any
We're
of
not
it?
wearing stage makeup, to be fair.
I'm not a professional fucking company making a release video.
This is as professional as it gets.
Like, and if you think about it, like everybody that they've ever had on that talked to the community, like Nikasor, all those, like, it was a presentation, right? Like, this feels like you're channeling Voy Boy Stairs energy with this fucking couch. And, like, look at our couch and our fucking, what is that, wainscoting? Yeah, we're making good decisions over here. That's how we afforded all this wainscoting. Because what we know is that Generation Z is impressed with quality old leather and wainscoting in our Victorian iteration room.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what wainscoting is.
It's that fucking wood shit on the wall.
Oh, that?
That's wainscoting, yeah. So.
It makes me feel like I'm in a microwave. Like I'm looking out from a microwave.
Yeah. Like, the Victorian iteration room at Riot is just popping.
That amplify champion fantasies and really build on what you love about your champs and Summoner's Rift. So moving forward, we're focusing on adding more game modes that hit this goal. And to that, let's talk about Ultimate Spellbook. First and foremost, you all seem to really love this one.
Nobody cares.
It was one of our highest engagement modes ever, second only to Earth. And beyond popularity, we're super happy
Earth
with
is
how
trash,
long you spent making oversized champions with Cho'Gath Salt, and by that we mean the total amount of time you spent in Ultimate Spellbook stayed high throughout the event. That gives us confidence that it's worth keeping around. That said, there are some clear areas of feedback that we want to address. Junglers were forced to take Smite and another ultimate, which meant they couldn't choose another summoner spell. They also missed out on a lot of exciting plays during the laning phase because they were stuck clearing camps. Beyond that, we also heard that games started to feel a little repetitive due to the small number of available ultimates. And we agree. So, this winter we'll be bringing back Ultimate Spellbook with a bigger ult pool. We'll also be making some adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience in Ultimate Spellbook is just as fun as everyone else's. If you'd like to learn more about our approach to game modes, you can check out the dev blog that's coming out today.
I want to play that game.
That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you're
enjoying.
enjoying Worlds as much as we are, and for any pros
Everyone gets
watching,
John ult.
once again, please pick a Moo.
That's you. Pick a move. Alright, it's over. Turn the music off.
Also, I'm kind of curious. I kind of want to watch this video with this lady because I have no idea what's going on with her face right now.
Who gives a fuck about teamfight tactics? Don't click on that shit.
Oh, I'm not, but purple hair, clueless look. Another Asian lady
If we
to
had any
prove that
female
Riot's
listeners,
inclusive.
They would be getting your ass.
I don't.
Than any female
I mean, that's the thing is, I don't like this. I would think
make fun
that.
of men's appearances as well.
Yeah, well, Bright Moon, the one.
That's what their names combined make a fucking fucking crypto Safe Moon, Bright Moon and Safe Locked. They make Safe Moon.
Well, like
Literally combined to make
I don't know, man. This just feels like.
Bright Lock could also be. That sounds like a security company, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, their choice of people to spokesman on this thing, like, just feels like a direct response.
Can we start bringing back Nikasor?
Yeah, like,
What?
Nikasor was great. What was wrong with Nikasor?
Uh,
I mean, other
heroin
than
addiction?
did she have a
I'm
crippling
making
heroin
that
addiction?
up.
Okay,
That's probably not true.
who knows? But I mean, we didn't break that news here. Is all I'm saying. But no, I mean, like I said, there's.
Bring back Freak. Make Freak do it.
Well, I
At
mean,
least
there's
it'll be
tons of
palatable.
interesting people that they have there. Like, I don't feel like this honestly.
These people are not presenters. These people aren't presenters. They actually work on the things, which is cool on the one hand, but also they're not professional presenters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I get the idea, but it's like we're monkeys. We just want people who talk good to us.
Yeah,
They
or
get
people with
75,000
charisma.
Dislikes.
No, I don't think the amount of dislikes that they got could have been mitigated.
Well, that's probably true.
Like, this
You don't think it
video.
would be mitigated a little bit if it was Freak? It's
Uh,
another thing we're gonna talk about. Come on.
I don't think they could have gotten Freak
bit.
to do this because he would have read it and been like, "We don't think champion kits are overloaded in general. What the fuck? You're gonna get me killed." You know, like
Could be onto something.
like
Could have a point.
it's I don't know this. It's just madness to me because like you have all this on-air talent, you have all these people with like a good amount of charisma, you have all these resources to like professional this up a little bit.
Here's what I say. Get me to do it, pussies. I'll say it. I'll say we don't think champion kits are overloaded. I don't have any shame. I'll say it. And I've got charisma. Put me on.
Yeah,
I'll say it right now. I don't think champion kits are overloaded in League. I really don't think it's a big deal. See? Do you see how convincing that was? I know how to speak to the people. Put me on. Put me in. Put me on the team. I'll present the shit out of it. I'll lie through my fucking teeth every day.
I can see you just being
for
like,
some money.
I
don't give a fuck.
for some money.
For some fucking cash.
No, I can see
Give
you
me a
like
crib in
going.
Santa Monica.
We don't
Think I
feel
can
like
fuck?
champion kits are overloaded in general. Like just making like this fucking incredulous face right after you say
I
that.
jim the camera after every statement, and you can't stop me.
Like,
What if they just did? I would fucking laugh my ass off if they actually did one of those, like, and they would do it for like April Fools or some shit, and then they would go right back to doing the same shit. Like it'd be so like such a slap in the face, but it'd be so funny.
well, like,
God,
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm out there, but like, and maybe I have recency bias or something, but this has been probably the worst and least fulfilling season of League of Legends that I've played in recollection. Like, last season wasn't good either, but this season has been awful.
I've barely played since season 8, really.
Yeah, and I mean,
can't comment too
to
much.
start off with, like, we think League's in a great place right now. Like, everybody's screaming about how this game needs to be fixed. Like,
And it really is just comes down to champion design, does it not?
mostly.
Like I was watching some. I know
Well,
you-
until we
I was
get the
watching Tyler
Kim.
1 a little bit.
No, actually, I've come around on Tyler 1 a little
You've
bit.
come around?
A little bit. Not all the way.
Not all
still
the way. Fair enough.
I still don't like. I have a hard
It's
time.
had a negative impact on the game. Overall.
Yes, absolutely.
Fair. I don't even necessarily think you're wrong, but I also don't. Maybe he did aid the proliferation of inting. I don't know. I think that what more happened was people realized that there's no punishment for inting,
Yes.
and it's again the easiest way to affect the outcome of a game. Do you remember that old screenshot that it was like from like season 2 or 3, where it was this Rammus that was taking like Ghost Cleanse every game or Ghost Teleport every game?
Disco Nunu.
No, but like I'm talking like older than Disco Nunu. This is like season 2 or 3.
No, I'm saying that and Disco Nunu.
Oh
was
yeah,
also,
but I think Disco Nunu was later.
It
But,
was.
Anyways, no, but there's this old screenshot where it was Rammus that went like 0 and 50 every game, but one of them was 0, 50, and 0, and it was a win. Bro, when's the last time that happened? Like, that used to be like, and part of it's because the overall skill of the player base was so much lower that it was easier to do stuff like that. But like, when's the last time you won with somebody actively inting your game? Never. Like, it doesn't happen. It's just a loss at that point.
Well, and that like everybody
it's the easiest
used
way
to.
affect the outcome of a game. It's way
like-
easier than being good.
Yeah, everybody used to bitch about that too. Like, oh, you could carry a game solo in season 3, like, and you could, a lot easier than you can now. But it feels like the game is easier to lose now.
Exactly. It's more. It's not even that I'm like as pissed that you can't just like hard 1v9 as much as you used to be able to, even on broken champions. Like Akali, she's strong as fuck. Don't get me. Or at least she's annoying as fuck. I don't know what her place is in the meta. She's probably strong. She's always strong. But like, you can't 1v9 games with her really. Like, in general. You know what I mean? Like, you can, but it's not, you know, not like the way that you used to be able to. But she's just less fun to play against. But, I had a point with this. I don't even remember. Who cares?
All right. Well, I think we've covered it. Thank you guys. Let me get our Patreon shout out together. So 1 second on that. But yeah.
Oh, I actually got it. I got it. Our Patreon person of the week is What does that say? Riot safe locked. Oh, I didn't know she was a fan of the show. Hey, I hope you don't think we were too harsh. It really wasn't trying to be.
Yeah, like, by the way, the funny thing...
Thanks for your support. We appreciate everyone who subs on the Patreon.
So
it really helps.
So,
it keeps the lights on, except not in my house. That's why it's so dark.
George Atfield, thank you for your support. Actual shout out. Thank you, George. You're amazing. And probably not, but can there be... Well, and because you don't have as cool of a summoner name as Safe Locked does. I mean, okay, so I don't know. I want to go on a rant on this,
Maybe
but
not
like, probably not a good idea. But that being said, like, dude, like, right? Please listen to people who play the fucking game. Can
we do one of those like at the end of an '80s movie where we're like, "This is gonna be the best season ever," and then we pause in the high five, and then it goes into what happens to all of us, and you find out that I'm hit by a bus after going into a fucking mental state and running out into the highway after a League of Legends induced anger attack, and then you like just die of an aneurysm caused by League of Legends at the age of 40.
Yep.
And then I don't know what would happen to Zill.
He lives forever. One of them's got to. Yeah. Whatever. Somebody always lives forever.
True. So Zill's the one that lives forever. What happens to Double Sniffed?
Also an aneurysm.
Also an aneurysm?
Yeah.
Both of you?
No. Double Sniff gets stabbed in a gas station by somebody he was toxic to. That's what happened.
That's probably true.
So, a gas station men's room just gets shanked. So, all right. Well, that's that. So, thank you guys for joining in. I hope you liked it. This is a little bit different content than what we normally go for. We'll try to bring it back, next week for whatever. And this one was again a little bit late because I couldn't get Double and Zill locked in. So, sorry. Try to get people to be present more often.
People want it though.
Yeah, I got them that sea lion.
Sea lion back in action.
That walrus dick sea lion fella.
Fact.
So.
If that's a good thing.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right. Well, that went well.